My name is Imam Wazir Ali. I'm the Imam of Masjid Warithud-Deen Mohammed, which is one of the oldest and most historical mosques here in Houston, Texas. I was deeply troubled and saddened this morning when I woke up, and actually my wife was the first one to inform me when she picked up her phone and she saw the news feed that said there was a shooting at a mosque in New Zealand. And I really didn't know the scale of the shooting when I first heard it. So I picked up my phone and I went online and I began to do some internet searches. And at that point early in the morning, the details were still slow coming out. We were made aware that there was a tragic event where an individual walked into two mosques in New Zealand and began shooting individuals. As the day moved along, more details came out, and it was very troubling and very deeply disturbing to find out that two mosques were attacked and at least 49 people we know were killed, and I believe 48 or more additional people were injured. And events like these are very troubling for us to process, for us to understand. We ask questions: why is this happening? What would motivate someone to do this? And then what would motivate someone to walk into a house of worship where individuals are gathering there on their worship day? Friday is the Muslim worship day for our weekly prayers, and just start to indiscriminately shoot everyone. And that's what happened today. And it's a very sad day. It's a very sad day for the human family. It's a very sad day for citizens of our beautiful planet, that this kind of hate is manifested, and it leads to the loss of so many lives, and the wanton destruction of people's lives and the lives of families. And also it has an impact on all of us as human beings when we see such things, when we see people indiscriminately killing other human beings when they're motivated by hate and things like that. So this is a great challenge. I had a very difficult time preparing my khutbah today. Khutbah is a word for sermon, because I was speaking at a rather diverse congregation where there were Muslims from all over the world there. And I was thinking, you know, what do I say to them today? You know, what message do I deliver today? So I prayed on it, and the major message that came to me today was that we see this kind of hatred, we see this kind of hate and evil acts, and sometimes it may challenge our faith in the human being. But I don't think we should lose faith in the human being. I think that these acts are a very small picture of our human identity and our human behavior. I think there's much more good that's done by us as human beings. There's much more cooperation, there's much more appreciation, there's much more assistance. There's many more things that we do as human beings that are good than are bad. And at times like this, it's important that we come together and that we combat this kind of hatred, this kind of violence, this kind of terroristic act, that we combat it by working together to help educate each other, to help us understand our differences, appreciate our differences, celebrate our diversity, and work against these kind of hateful actions, no matter who they're perpetrated against. It's very sad that today it was two mosques. But this could have been any establishment. This could have been any faith tradition. This could have been any a group of individuals who were targeted. So we have to work together as a society. We have to come together, and we have to work together to fight this kind of behavior and fight this kind of hate, so that we can have a better future for ourselves and our family and our children moving forward, locally, but also nationally and around the world. I think we should respond very strongly in a show of cooperation to show the better side of the human being and the better side of all of us as individuals who want to see peace, who wants to see us get along, who wants to see us live together in peace, and who want to make sure that these kind of atrocities don't continue to happen.
I'm sure people call you for wisdom and guidance. What is on the mind of Houstonians that you've heard from today?
Yes. So there's a lot of things that that have come today as a result of it. There's fear. Many people were afraid. They were concerned, is it safe to come to the mosque? They were concerned that, was this going to trigger someone else to act similarly? So you have fear. Some people were angry. You had anger because they were angered at what they saw. Some people were just bewildered and confused, you know, of how this happened, what motivated it. So there's a number of reactions. But I think that we have to be sensitive to those families who lost individuals today, and to those mosques that were attacked in New Zealand. And we can't just be reactionary. We can't just react with fear. We can't let these things cause us to be afraid. We have to continue to go out. We have to continue to live our lives. And as I mentioned earlier, have faith in the goodness of the human being. Houston Police Department had police officers stationed at this mosque and many other mosques to let us know that they were aware of the potential for violence and the potential for mosques to be targeted, and that they were going to be protective. So we thank the Houston Police Department for that, and we thank all who made sure that happened. For those people who were angry, the message to them is, you know, when you see things like this, it can elicit anger, but try not to act on that anger. Try to process it. Try to see it. Try to cope with it. You know, if you need to get counseling so you can cope with it, so that you can put it in perspective, and so that you can turn that anger into something positive. You turn it into proactive steps to make sure that these things don't happen again. You turn that into education, where you educate people about the dignity of human life, about the sacredness of human life, about respecting our differences and getting to know each other as human beings, and seeing that common human connection. For those who were just bewildered, you know, try to tell them to take a step back, take a deep breath, you know, look at it, and try to understand it in the context that it's an unfortunate reality that hate exists. And it's an unfortunate reality that hate gets manifested in these evil, tragic ways. And that the only thing that we can do is do our best to work against that hate through education, through engagement, and through encountering each other on a human level, so that we can see at the end of the day our values as human beings is more important than any of these differences that we tend to focus on. I think the biggest thing to combating hatred and these horrendous acts is education. You know, I think, and when I say education, you know, as I mentioned earlier, that we stop looking at labels and we stop looking at titles, and we look at each other as human beings, that we all have families, we all have children. We're concerned about our families, we're concerned about our children, we're concerned about our fellow human being, and learn how to empathize with others and empathize with their situation, so that we stop seeing people as the other and stop victimizing and villainizing and dehumanizing people as the other. When you study throughout history, before many of these kind of atrocities, there's campaigns to dehumanize people. And when you can dehumanize a group of people, you can justify these violent, horrendous acts. So we have to combat the dehumanization of individuals based on their race, based on their religion, or based on these titles that we tend to carry and react to and respond to.